So, I think I'm going to use this Douglas fir in my entry to Gav's challenge at Not Another Bonsai Channel. This is his holiday Christmas challenge, and yeah, I think I'm gonna like this one too. This has always been a favorite of mine, this tiny little Douglas fir, and I have other Douglas firs, and it's a it's a love-hate relationship. Um, they out of all my trees, they require the most attention to and the most effort. Um, it makes deciduous such a breeze, but you know, you may be wondering, what is all this cotton doing around here? Well, this is a funny story. Uh, I had all kinds of plans for this, um, plans that involved money, um, and besides that, even if I did have money to to get the things that I wanted to get for it to make it look really really cool, and I probably would use a different tree. Um, we're out of time and we're out of money, and I've been spending the last couple of days thinking of a creative way to make this look like Christmas. Which first thing obviously is that comes to my mind is snow. So what I did is, and I don't know if this is gonna work, but I took cotton balls, right? Took cotton balls, shredded them up, and kind of splay them out like a mat, right, like that. And I will come to the bottom of this. I know you're thinking, well, that just looks like cotton, MD. Yes, you're right. It is still very much cotton. However, there's a method to the madness, right? What I'm actually going to do is, and at first I thought I was going to take these off and I was going to wet them off, make a template out of them, and then wet them, let them dry, come back, and put them on, which I'm sure the tree would appreciate that approach better. But honestly, this tree has gathered the energy I need in it for next year. So I'm okay with wanting to put this through the ringer for the sake of this challenge. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll live up to the task. So this is kind of not just my entry into the challenge, but also a head nod to the guys at the Tree Masons, which I hope are having a good Christmas and a good season. Nothing quite like Christmas time. Beyond the days of our youth where we looked forward to getting presents more than anything. I think that's kind of left us behind, certainly for me. I try to spend Christmas thinking about others. I watched Jay's entry into the challenge today. I was listening to him talk about Christmas and the spirit of it, and Jay is over at Bonsai's Forever. You should check his channel out. He's a really cool guy, very thoughtful. I think he nailed it when he's talking about Christmas and present givings and stuff like that, which is all very nice, but don't really think it should be about that. Certainly it shouldn't be about wanting to receive. Giving, yes, and giving in the moment, which I think is what he was pointing out. Some of us like to, prepare ahead of time. And there's, I'm not against that. Because Christmas can be a hard time. And some people just want to, well, I guess you would say, be prepared. August. We try to do that in everything. I mean, we try to be prepared in bonsai too. So I know you're thinking, well, it still looks like cotton. I can see the fibrous, nature of the cotton balls. Yes, but when I wet this down, it should kind of mold, and it will look like wet cotton when I do that. But the goal is, when I wet it down, it'll conform more. I can add more layers. Now, it's going to be brutal on the needles, but I'm hoping if it's a cohesive mat that I'll be able to pull it off. If not, then I'll lose some needles, but buds will push next year, so I think it's okay. This little guy was grown from seed, so I wouldn't put anything through that I didn't think it can come out of. Not ever. But when you want your trees to do certain things, you be the judge of what you think it can handle. And if you've grown things from seed, I guarantee you know what it can handle. I believe this guy is about 4 years old. It's nicknamed Teacup Doug. It's not actually a teacup. It's actually a proper bonsai pot. But the way it fits in your hand, that's why I call it Teacup Doug. I would be putting some baubles on this, decoration. May not be your stereotypical decorations, like bulbs or anything. We'll see how it goes. So my goal is just to insinuate these tips here. Just insinuate the tips. No sharp lines, because when I wet this down, I don't want any sharp lines, because what I mean by sharp lines is the undulations. So I'm trying to mimic how the snow comes down and settles on everything. It actually looks a lot better on the phone than it does here in person. Maybe that's just because I'm handling the cotton. I think I'll add some more to this. So if the wetting down and drying don't quite work, I don't have to thoroughly soak it. I'm just looking for nice mats with a little bit of body to it. So, how am I going to spend my Christmas? Well, celebrate with family, but I typically spend this time of year just thinking about things. I mean, bonsai season is pretty much over, right? I mean, this may be the last bonsai thing that I do. So, again, another shout out and thank you to Gav at another bonsai channel, because he's actually giving me an excuse to keep working on my trees, or tree in this case. But my favorite tree. I have a lot of trees, but time and time again I come to this one. I make bonsai stands, and you'll see this little guy on my stands quite often. I make a lot of stands that are for this size tree. I guess this was what you would call a shohin, maybe a very large mame, but shohin, small shohin. I'm just working on the apex right now, the crown, which in wiring is difficult enough, but it seems to be difficult as far as the snow is concerned. There's one thing I do like about this cotton. Let's see if you can pick that up. See how it has the bigger chunks in there, and then the smaller wispy stuff? I'm hoping when I wet that down, there'll be some variation. We'll say those are like, different size snowflakes. And just like wiring, we want different levels. You can actually appreciate the different levels a little more here with this attempted snow than you can actually see the layers with this off. This has a long way to go before, I start removing all the needles underneath and actually delineating those layers. If you know anything about Washington, these trees are everywhere. They are the dandelions to everyone's lawn, except in tree form here in Washington. This is a quintessential tree that probably makes up our nickname for our state, which is the Evergreen State. And because of these trees, our state is always green. And this will stay in the garage in the dark for a day, maybe 3. I know you're probably saying no. That's horrible. It can handle it. It can handle it. Trees are all dormant. It can handle quite a bit this time of year, as long as you don't warm them up too much. Speaking of which, I do have a heater going, blasting at my feet and legs. And we're gonna pull some of this down. I'm trying to get it flowing over the pot a little bit. Okay. Now, that's not looking too bad on camera. Like I said, it looks a lot different for me. But what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take some water and I'm gonna go ahead and mist this down, and let's see if we can't form those mats that we're talking about. We're gonna do it slowly at first. So we're saturating it. Almost gives that, right now it almost gives that look, how ice will form on the top of snow. Well, the branches are looking pretty nice. Not too bad. It gives that half melted snow look. I actually might go with that. I'm not too happy down here. I might have added too much down here because I want this to look a little bit better. And we'll have it going down on the side of this pot. It's not quite the front. I'm a lot more happier with the branches than I am the bottom, but we'll just have to see how it dries. Maybe I'll add some more here. See when that dries what that looks like. I might wet the bottom down more. So that was my low-tech entry into the challenge. Necessity is the mother of all inventions, so they say, or is the mother of creativity.